And the influence that he still has, even at this stage of his career for Spain, is absolutely huge. And it is Spain who get us underway, playing in all red. Costa Rica in all whites. Spain playing from right to left in this first half, and Spain it is who win the early throw over on the far side. We've had a shock defeat for Germany already in this group today. That is Spain's next match on Sunday. Can they take advantage, or will they go the way of Germany and Argentina and suffer a shock defeat in their opener? Costa Rica know how to do that. From 2014 they did it. They got out of the toughest group arguably at that tournament, and they have 5 players in this starting lineup who were in that squad 8 years ago. But it's Spain in possession, and we know we'll be saying that a lot this evening. And they'll just knock it around between them, Rodri and Aymeric Laporte. Of course, it's a position that we know Rodri has played for Spain and Manchester City, but clearly more usually used in that defensive midfield role. But as you say, Rob Green, it does give them the option to push him up into midfield, where Spain have the ball now with Alba in field once more to Pedri, and now back to Rodri on the halfway line.
Yeah, just looking at this Costa Rican mid shape and looking at the front two.
As Spain come down the right-hand side, approaching the Costa Rican penalty area. Good challenge at the back by the experienced Brian Oviedo, the former Everton and Sunderland man, and it goes out for a Spain corner, 90 seconds played.
Ferran Torres on the right-hand side, he's got the space because they're having such a narrow back line, such a narrow midfield four. Campbell and Contreras in up front realise the importance of Busquets, both of them dropping and sitting on Busquets. It's going to be tight in there.
So early test for the Costa Rican backline, and Keylor Navas, 35 years old, as the Spain corner is swung in. It's met by Costa Rica and sent up towards the halfway line and all the way back by Spain. A first touch for Unai Simon in the Spain goal. So good to see how he recovered from what was a real error against Croatia at the Euros. Overall, a decent tournament for Simon, but it's one of those things that mentally as a goalkeeper, you just don't know what it's going to do to a young goalkeeper, and he's come through it, played well since then, and very much established as the Spain number one. Yeah,
it's good to see him get a chance, and the confidence of a manager to say, I need him, he's good with his feet. Yes, he plays out. Yes, it looks shaky at times, but it's really important as to how they play.
Just breaks down for Spain outside the Costa Rican penalty area, and Costa Rica will play it around, charged down well by Dani Olmo, but will be cleared away at the back by Francisco Calvo, up towards halfway, where Spain will win the header with Busquets out to the right hand side. Will just be kept in. Costa Rica get the foot in, but Spain will pick it up once more just inside the Costa Rican half. Goalless here, 3 minutes played, as Jordi Alba picks it up for Spain on the left hand side, and now forward to Ferran Torres, back to Alba, and the pattern is set. Spain passing it around, lovely work there by Asensio, played the ball in field, it's cut out by Celso Borges. Huge experience for Costa Rica, and Costa Rica win the free kick as well midway through their own half, and we can take you through the team. So Simon in goal for Spain, the back four of Azpilicueta, Rodri, Laporte and Alba. Ahead of them, it's Gavi becoming their youngest World Cup debutant at just 18 years of age still. Busquets, 34 years of age, and Pedri, 19, so the full range of ages there in the Spain midfield. And then forward is Ferran Torres, Asensio and Dani Olmo as Spain pick it up just outside their own penalty area. Costa Rica with Navas in goal, the back four of Martinez, Duarte, Calvo and Oviedo. Ahead of them it's Tejeda and Borges, their most capped player, with Fuller, Campbell formerly of Arsenal, and Jefferson Bennett of Sunderland, supporting Contreras, who's had a remarkable rise with the national side up front. Here goes Ferran Torres down the left-hand side for Spain, in field to Jordi Alba. Ball into the penalty area, looking for the run at the far side, and it's across the box and across past the far post from Dani Olmo, and behind for a Costa Rica goal kick. Great chance for Spain inside the opening 5 minutes, and Dani Olmo.
A huge chance, and Dani Olmo, it's an amazing opportunity on the volley, because the pace, there's enough pace on the ball. He gets to see it all the way over the defender's shoulder. Grimaces at the thought of missing it, because actually you're expecting him to at least hit the target with that big opportunity. bit of a difficult bind for Costa Rica already. Do they go and press? Do they drop off? There, they got it wrong. They pressed, they got played through, never really recovered in shape, and then they had the time to pick the pass from midfield.
Well, he has scored 3 goals for RB Leipzig this season, Dani Olmo. Big opportunity there as Spain have it just inside their own half and spray it out to Rodri, who plays it forward looking for Asensio. Now out to the left-hand side, and Jordi Alba. Here is Olmo popping off on the left now. Well, marshalled out at the back by Carlos Martinez for Costa Rica, and Costa Rica have a throw. Now, had to dive into my sticker book. All us commentators do it differently. I have little stickers with the nose. I realised when I was reading the lineup, guess who I put at right wing? Pau Torres, rather than Ferran Torres. I looked at that, I thought that's not right. Ferran Torres it is. And Spain win the ball back from Costa Rica on the halfway line. 6 minutes gone, 0-0. And Rodri in possession in the centre circle.
Oh, I hate to tell you, there's one in the Costa Rica team as well.
Torres here, Torres there, Torres everywhere. Spain in possession just inside the Costa Rica half. It's backs to the wall at the moment for the Costa Ricans as Spain switch the play out to the right hand side, but they won't keep that in, and the ball goes out of play for a Costa Rica throw.
Dani Olmo and Ferran Torres have swapped a few times already in the shape of the game. I think that's going to be a feature with them high and wide, and Costa Rica just playing the 4 at the back. They're going to have to ignore one, whether the ball's on the right, ignoring the right winger, on the left, ignoring the far-sided player.
And here they come once more with Pedri, the Barcelona 19-year-old. Lays it back to Busquets, who spreads the play to Jordi Alba. Very much a Barcelona flavour about this Spain starting lineup as Pedri lifts it forward once more. Alba tried to play it back, half a shout for handball. Olmo will play the ball in, and it's collected easily by Keylor Navas.
Yeah, it might well have been hit him on the arm, but there's no chance of it being a handball. It's, they're being quite adventurous in their shape, Costa Rica. They're playing 2 up front almost, and there's just so much space in there for... Keep on wanting to say Barcelona. It is the Barcelona players, it's the Spain players, but mainly the Barcelona players in midfield with the time and the space and the room to operate.
Here is Azpilicueta, plays it out to the right-hand side. Well, Costa Rica, this won't be a surprise to them. They know, and their coach Luis Fernando Suarez will know as well, that Spain are going to dominate the ball. It's about keeping your shape and trying to take those opportunities, get the ball forward to those attacking players. Anthony Contreras, almost amongst those. His dad actually quit his job, Contreras, to go and watch their Intercontinental Cup playoff win to get through to the World Cup. It was one of those where he's trying to get time off work. It was proving very difficult, and he thought, no, I'm going to see my son. They got through, and I hope he's here today. Here is Pedri, plays it to the edge of the penalty area, just past the post from Asensio, who was coming in. Navas was diving, might have had it covered, but it's a lovely Spain move.
Yeah, it's, as you would imagine, the Spanish type of goal chance that they create. The one-touch football through the middle, and the midfield is just too split. Navas had it covered. It wasn't the greatest of strikes just wide, but you can see them just getting their angles, getting the combinations, going up through the gears. It's going to be a tough ride for Costa Rica to see this through.
And Navas it is who sends the goal kick long over the halfway line. It is flicked on for the run of Joel Campbell, but Spain get bodies in the way. And that's the thing for Spain at the back. Laporte and Rodri, so proficient in the air as well when called upon. Those high balls up from Costa Rica.
Well, it's an interesting choice not to pick Garcia, and he's saying, well, he's not the biggest up against Campbell up there, and that's the out ball. That's what they'll look for. They need bodies around him, but with those 2 guys at the back, as you say, Vicky, it's going to be tough to get out.
And here comes Spain. Azpilicueta bursting down the right-hand side as Gavi drifts into the box. Spain win the throw over on the far side, and Azpilicueta, the Chelsea captain, will jog over to take. Preferred to Carvajal today. Carvajal's been struggling with illness, as has Morata, those 2 on the bench. But it also allows Spain to drop into that back 3 as well, which obviously several combinations of players can do, but Azpilicueta is certainly one of those if Carvajal is not quite feeling 100%. Olmo has it on the left-hand side for Spain here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, all the way back to Aymeric Laporte, who will square it to Rodri. Spain in possession on the halfway line.
I get a feeling, the way the game's going now, they'll be happy. They don't need to change the shape, don't need to consider it.
And they've stolen it back almost from Francisco Calvo, who does really well there. He loses the ball initially, then times the tackle well on the edge of the area, but Spain have it back once more. Here is Olmo, 30 yards out or so, headed away once more by Calvo inside his own penalty area. Forward by Busquets, out to the right-hand side, and Gavi. Pedri's asking for it, central position. And it comes to him via the foot of Sergio Busquets, out to the left-hand side, and Jordi Alba now. And this is where it's just about concentration for Costa Rica as Spain zip it around. Alba whips it in, a little bit of space for Olmo, will come to the edge of the box, dink through again, looking for Olmo, brings it down brilliantly. 1-0 Spain. It's a lovely goal from Dani Olmo. Lovely flowing move from Spain. And Olmo kept his cool, finished off past Navas. And it's Spain who take the lead, 1-0.
Well, from the kickoff, it's been coming. 11 minutes in, and it was a matter of time. They're not getting tight, Costa Rica. They don't know who to pick up. The movements there, the stepping off the line, the stepping into the space, the runners in behind. And Dani Olmo timed this one to perfection. Almost intercepted, almost bundled through. And just his space, his inclination to make the run in behind, timed it to perfection. It's a cool finish as Navas comes out, but you have to say they've looked good from the start. Opening 10 minutes, they've had complete control. From now on, you think they're just going to grow in confidence and continue.
So we are underway, the ball through. Just watching that replay from Gavi, it does get a bit of deflection on the way through, but Dani Olmo able to bring it down, control it calmly, and slot it past Navas. So Spain with that early breakthrough, and Costa Rica trying to build down this right-hand side with Joel Campbell, and the ball goes out of play for a Spain throw.
Just in the build-up to that goal there as well. They had retained possession and then recycled possession, and it was all Busquets reading of the game, reading of that long ball out, and he just kept stepping in the way. I'll take that, thank you very much, let's go again. And his dictation of this game so far has been impeccable.
So 12 minutes played, it's the champions of 2010 looking to avoid an upset, but as we know, Germany took the lead against Japan, Argentina took the lead against Saudi Arabia. You just never know at the World Cup. Costa Rica in possession. Play it back to Borges, and he will play it back into his own half. And this is Costa Rica's longest spell of possession, and it's been well kept hold of by Carlos Martinez, but his ball forward is ahead of Joel Campbell, and Laporte into his penalty area. Will play it out very calmly to Jordi Alba. Nicely laid off by Busquets. Again, just the way that Spain interchange passes. There's so much... Oh, there you go. Commentators curse straight away. The ball from Asensio is playing behind Dani Olmo. But I maintain, Rob Green, it's still the confidence with which they play. They know where each other are. Yes, they make the odd mistake. Of course they do. They're human. But it's just such a remarkable Spanish team.
And he was through. He was in. From the halfway line, he had the length of the pitch to go. And you know that they're playing with confidence. Busquets again on the edge of his own box, a one touch outside of the boot pass out to the left back, and you're just thinking, hold on a minute, they're playing a different game here to the Costa Ricans.
As Piliqueta over on the far side does just manage to keep it in, and the ball is all the way back with Rodri outside the Spain penalty area. Spain who lead by the goal to nil. Dani Olmo after 11 minutes as Busquets plays it forward to Asensio, who just missed out on that Euro 2020 squads last summer when Spain, of course, reached the semi-finals, only losing on penalties to Italy. But he was part of the young Spain side, one of their overage players that won silver at the Olympics that summer. As Gavi goes down, concedes the free kick, does Francisco Calvo. And it will be a free kick to Spain midway through the Costa Rica half, just about level with the right-hand side of that penalty area. Spain 1, Costa Rica 0.
He's very, very fortunate there. 1-0 down. Should be a yellow card in as well, because that was late, that was clinical, that's completely premeditated, and he was way off the pace there. That should be a yellow.
And he's a player that plays on the edge, isn't he? I mean, we've seen a great recovery tackle on the edge of his own penalty area after he'd made a mistake. But as you say there, the last thing you want 15 minutes in, 1-0 down already, is to have one of your centre-halves on a yellow card when you're facing players with the trickery of Spain. Spain, it is standing over his free kick on the far side. Little layoff now will be driven in by Pedri. He was looking for the 1-2 with Olmo. Read well by Costa Rica, and here go Costa Rica with Jefferson Bennett, who goes down. The Sunderland teenager wins the free kick over on the far side midway through the Spain half.
That was a really good free kick idea, and they actually, the man in the one-man wall backed off because he realised he was on his own and he was outnumbered. The space was there to run into, but they'd obviously practiced this in training, and I thought, well, I better do it because this is what we practice in training, rather than thinking on your feet and saying, I've got 10 yards to run into.
16 minutes gone, Spain lead 1-0 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Costa Rica free kick just inside the Spain half, which will be taken from the wide left position. Joel Campbell, former Arsenal man, is over it, sends it to the right-hand side. Calvo was up there, wins the header, but the flag is up on this near side, and it will be a free kick to Spain inside their own penalty area.
Well, it was nearly a touch in the Spain penalty area, but he was offside. He timed it just a fraction too early. I was saying at the start of the game that you could see where Contreras and Campbell, both of them were sitting on Busquets, and they realised how dangerous he was. Well, as soon as I said it, both of them stopped doing it, and from that point, he's completely been in complete control of this game.
And Spain in control of the scoreline as well. 1-0 they lead as Rodri brings it up towards the halfway line. We've already had our latest shock of the World Cup today. If you're just joining us, Japan 2-1 winners coming from behind against Germany. That's after Morocco drew 0-0 with Croatia. And one more match for you to come on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Belgium against Canada, 7 p.m. kickoff with John Murray and Dion Dublin. In possession are Spain in the centre circle. Here is Pedri out to the left-hand side, and Jordi Alba lays it off to the goal scorer, Dani Olmo, who cuts in field from that left wing, tries the 1-2 with Alba, but it's intercepted well by Tejeda of Costa Rica, and he wins the free kick as well, and it will be a free kick to Costa Rica midway through their own half.
Yeah, they're just not getting this right. There's 3 or 4 of them pressing in the Spain half, but you're looking at that midfield, they're so good technically on the ball. They'll just play through that. They realise where the space is, they know which of their teammates has got the space, and so they can play through that press, and then they're straight in at the back line. You've got to do it as a unit, you've got to do it as a team. You can't do it in 3s and 4s.
Spain in possession with Pedri. Plays it out to the left, and Jordi Alba back to Aymeric Laporte. And the control that Spain are enjoying at the moment, I mean, it's hard to overstate. They've got the goal leads. They're comfortable, as we know, in possession. Oh, there you go. That's all I need to do is keep saying it, because every time I wax lyrical about how they're doing it, Spain play it out of play. And I swear to you, that's the second time they've done that, and both times I've been talking about it. So there we go. We know what we need to do if we want a game on our hands.
Right, you're giving Costa Rica hope, but behind the goal to our right-hand side, there's a pocket of the Costa Rican travelling fans, and they've been lively at the start before the kickoff. Very, very subdued now.
But here they come. They might rise behind that goal, and they do as one, as Joel Campbell comes down the right-hand side outside the Spain penalty area. He's well marshalled away by Aymeric Laporte, who just stepped up from that back line out to the left wing. Costa Rica will play it forwards once more as they work it down this right-hand side with Martinez. Back to Joel Campbell, who whips the ball in left-footed. Costa Rica have players over on that far side. Important header won away by Spain. Forward to Ferran Torres, who goes down. The referee says no foul, and Costa Rica will come forwards once more, but they're stopped in their tracks, and now the red shirts will flow over the halfway line, and here is the goal scorer, Dani Olmo, left-hand side, approaching the penalty area, but will stop and check and send it back to Marco Asensio. I'm honest, I thought the whistle had gone there because it really did stop to walking pace, but Spain have worked it out to the right-hand side now, and the momentum of that Costa Rican attack is gone as Spain look to build their own momentum, ticking through the gears, out to the left-hand side, and Jordi Alba in field now to Asensio, who will stop and check and play it back once more, and Busquets is there, he's closed down well by Tejeda, but steers the play out to the right-hand side, and Azpilicueta with Ferran Torres ahead of him, back to Azpilicueta, and Spain once more back to the halfway line with Aymeric Laporte.
It's so difficult as a proposition for Costa Rica. I think they're pretty much doing all they can do now is sitting in this 4-4-2, but it's such a tight and narrow 4-4-2. It's just 10 bodies in the way because they go to press. They just can't get round such a wide, vast space of this pitch is, and you stand there, it feels so big when you're a player in this pitch.
And they're finding space on the left-hand side now. Jordi Alba whips the ball in. Oh, that's a brilliant goal. It's met fabulously by Asensio. First time, brilliant ball from Alba. Brilliant finish from Asensio. Spain lead Costa Rica 2-0.
It was a wonderful finish and a wonderful goal. All of a sudden, just bided their time, waited for the moment to pounce. And as I was saying, Costa Rica have got to go tight, got to go narrow. That provides the space out wide. One fast ball out wide, one fast ball into the box, one touch finish. They're in complete control of this in early fashion of this game.
And do you know what? If we're talking about shocks at this World Cup, it's what Germany didn't do, it's what Argentina didn't do. They've got the second goal.
Yep, and you're just looking at the replay. It comes so quick from Asensio. Keylor Navas, you're thinking, oh, can he do a bit better? Guts his hand to it, but it just, the speed of it. Your head will be turning with the ball. You're not sure where that run's going to come in, when it's going to be met, and it's such a clean, crisp finish off the instep of Asensio. It's past him before he can get any power into the dive. It's difficult for Navas. It's going to be even more difficult for Costa Rica now.
Yeah, real mountain to climb for the side that got out of the toughest group at the World Cup back in 2014. 5 of those players were involved in that campaign, but they're trailing by 2-0, and they didn't have to come from 2 goals down in any of those games as Gavi comes forward. Spain really with a bit between their teeth now. Here is Ferran Torres, plays it in, it's blocked behind off Oviedo. It's a Spain corner, it is all Spain.
Yeah, they're flowing, they really are flowing. Pat touched on it before the game. He's saying, look, you can see the form of Costa Rica. We know they've won games, we just don't know how good they are because they've not played teams of the quality of Spain. Looking at it now, you're thinking this could be a struggle for a World Cup.
So corner to Spain over on the far side, leading by 2-0, and utterly dominant here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. They have a little arc, a red arc of players, Spain, if they want to play a short option and then another one and then another one to work it to the edge of the D.
Wouldn't surprise me if they did. Yeah, they could play it all around the edge of the box and finish with a shot.
Or just go back to Unai Simon.
Well, you'll put the kiss of death on them now and they'll kick it off.
Let's see. I have a feeling Costa Rica are going to need all the help they can get, even if it's from us. Quarter to Spain over on the far side, leading by 2-0. What will they work from this set piece? It's swung into the edge of the 6-yard box, cleared away by Costa Rica, up towards the halfway line. Jordi Alba is there and sends it back up over his shoulder towards the penalty area. It will bounce kindly for Gavi, almost muscled out of it by Contreras, who it's the first time we've mentioned the Costa Rican forward outside his own penalty area, and he's lost it to Asensio, pulls the ball across, blocked behind off Duarte, but it did take a nick back off Asensio, and it will be a goal kick to Costa Rica.
That was brilliant from Gavi because he knew he was going to get hit. He knew, and he's not the biggest in any way, shape or form. He said, I'll tell you what, I'm up for this, I'll take a blow. And he won the ball, gave his teammate a chance, and it was unfortunate. What Navas did was go quickly for the spare ball. I'm thinking, I'd take all the time I want right now because you've got a long old 65 minutes left here, lad.
Spain in possession midway through their own half, leading by 2-0 from Olmo and Asensio. Out to the left-hand side they come with Jordi Alba, and now Pedri. Olmo will send it back to Alba, and Pedri once more. And Spain will go all the way back into their own half with Laporte. 4 games for you tomorrow on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, including one of the favourites, Brazil. Rick Edwards will be live from Doha from 6 a.m. on 5 Live Breakfast. Out on the right-hand side is Gavi, is Busquets, plays it back to Azpilicueta and Rodri. It's just rhythmic, isn't it?
It's wonderful to watch how they're playing, and yes, Costa Rica are struggling. I played against that wonderful team from Spain of just over 10 years ago now, and it's got a similar feel to it. The team in white are stood there looking at each other going, what do we do here? Because we haven't got an answer right now.
2-0 Spain lead. Costa Rica have stolen it though on the halfway line, and it's a good bursting run by Jefferson Bennett of Sunderland. He's well dispossessed, but I tell you what, there he gave the Spain back line a little something to think about there. Good pace, good skill. Yeah,
but that's why Rodri's in the team. That's the role he has at Manchester City. In front of the back four, he just did it as a centre-back there, sensed the danger, stepped across, really good tackle, and again, so dispiriting, because you get that little inkling, you think, oh, there's some space, it's gone.
Spain in possession on the halfway line. He is their youngest debutant, Costa Rica, Jefferson Bennett, yet to make his full debut for Sunderland, but already a real fan favourite there after arriving in the summer, partly because him and his dad get the bus to and from training. Very down-to-earth 18-year-old, and now he's making his World Cup bow. His Costa Rica side, though, are 2-0 down to Spain as Olmo wins a throw over on this near side, just up from the halfway line.
I used to get the bus to training. It was never a fan's favourite, though.
But I was going to say you probably were down-to-earth, so there you go.
I was under-earth. It was on the tube as well.
Very good. Spain coming forward outside the penalty area. Lovely work by Gavi. Very good covering challenge by Tejeda, covering back there. And Spain will bring it forward once more. But a little glimpse, as we saw from Jefferson Bennett, for Costa Rica of what Gavi, the 18-year-old, can do for Spain. And he's on the ball again now. Space opens up a little bit ahead of him. So he does a 360 and then plays it out to Azpilicueta on the right-hand side. Here is Ferran Torres. Gavi once more, and Torres hugging that touchline. Plays it back to Azpilicueta. Spain leading by 2-0 here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And Spain play it back into their own half. We've talked about the shocks for Germany and Argentina. How much as players, when you're in the position of Spain, think about, are affected by, talk about results like that elsewhere in the tournament?
They'll use that as motivation, and they'll see, put the game to bed early doors.
Here goes Dani Olmo down to the left-hand side of the penalty area. Oh, brilliant skill by Jordi Alba, not once but twice. Plays it back to Olmo once more. That was absolutely beautiful from the Spain fullback, and you could hear the ooze around the stadium for it as Rodri plays it forward. And now Gavi. Costa Rica cannot get a foot on the ball at the moment as Ferran Torres has it. Nice little backheeled attempted pass by Asensio, scorer of Spain's second, cleared away by Costa Rica, but it's all the way back with Unai Simon.
The party tricks are coming out already. You talk about going about it the right way when you are the favourites, when you're talking about shocks and things like that. You say, when you're the better team, start the first 15 minutes well, go at it well, let's show the right attitude. Wow, they've done that. First half an hour, they've been brilliant.
They're in possession, Spain, inside their own half. Do you think they will have talked specifically about the importance of getting the second goal, which Germany and Argentina didn't?
I think just go out and play, and with this team, they'll just keep going, because that's the only way they know. You talk about the manager and the messages he sends out and how he wants his team to play. That's what they do, Luis Enrique. That's how he wants them to play.
Here goes Dani Olmo down the left-hand side for Spain. Open the scoring for them. And they lead by 2-0 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Here is Pedri outside the penalty area. Tried the little 1-2. Costa Rica tried one themselves, ill-advisedly to clear. They haven't done. Spain tumble in the area and it's a penalty. Very decisive decision, pointing straight to the spot, and Costa Rica have rueful grimaces on their faces. It was a good run by Jordi Alba. He went down. The penalty's been given, and Spain, inside the opening half an hour, have a chance to make it 3-0.
I just got it wrong, and it's unfortunate because they were under so much pressure there. Looking at Duarte, he's the man who's the culprit of the tackle, and It's just horrible, a horrible body shape that he gets himself into, and it's a falling body that dictates where his leg goes. He makes contact, Jordi Alba goes down. It was the relentless pressure again that they won the recycling of the ball. They won the opportunity again. They're at 6s and 7s at the back, just too much pressure on the back line.
So Keylor Navas, who's already conceded twice this evening, who had such a brilliant World Cup 8 years ago, will have to try and keep out Ferran Torres. He was Spain's top scorer in the World Cup qualifiers, and he has the chance to make it 3-0, the former Manchester City man, from the spots. It's Ferran Torres against Keylor Navas, and it's calmly done by Torres. It's rolled into the net. Navas went the wrong way, and Spain are running away with this already. Inside the opening half an hour, it's Spain 3, Costa Rica 0.
Well, that was clinical. They've been clinical so far. Very good penalty. Just a little hop. More pace in a run than a Jorginho run-up. Less of a hop, but enough just to give him that time to say, which way you going, Keylor? Down you go. I'll go the other way. Thank you very much. 3-0. It's a cruise.
It is indeed. It's plain sailing at the moment for Spain. And I'm sure there will be a smile on the face of Luis Enrique. Yes, for the performance, yes, for the goals. But as Guillaume Balaguer was telling us before, it's his daughter's boyfriend as well. He's just made it 3-0.
Oh, I wondered why he's on penalties.
Well, he has stuck it in the back of the net. So from a tactical perspective, it makes sense as well. And Spain, very, very comfortable in the opening 31 minutes here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. I guess the golden question now, Rob Green, and if you can answer it, you're a cleverer football journalist / former footballer than me. What do Costa Rica do now?
You just sit tight. The game's gone. The game's gone already. Sit tight and you say, look, use this as an education. Learn as much as you can from playing against some really, really good players. But what you don't do is go and take an absolute battering.
Unai Simon under a little bit of pressure from the back pass, plays the ball straight out of play, and Costa Rica do have a throw on the far side, level with the edge of the penalty area. They go all the way back to Calvo, who spreads the ball out to the right-hand side, and Joel Campbell, lovely touch from the former Arsenal man to bring it down. He's challenged by Dani Olmo. Campbell stays down. Now, initially the throw was given, but our referee has deemed that it might be a little bit more than a throw there, and Costa Rica have been given a free kick just in from that right-hand touchline, level with the edge of the penalty area. They trail by 3-0.
Well, it was needless tackle from Dani Olmo. And you're looking at this, by far and away the best chance that Costa Rica have had, wide out on the touchline, as you say, Vicky. But it's time, it's a possession in the Spain half, and also obviously away from their own goal.
So it will be their vastly experienced Celso Borges to take this free kick from the right-hand side. It's swung in, it's poor, it's almost played straight to Joel Campbell by Spain. The offside flag's gone up now. And I think Marco Asensio will breathe a bit of a sigh of relief there. In fact, it was Jordi Alba back there, playing his side almost into trouble, and almost straight to Joel Campbell, who had strayed very much offside. Although, interesting one that, because if that's a deliberate play of the ball there from Jordi Alba, this is one of those things, it's the same law. If a defender deliberately plays the ball, then it can negate an offside. But IFAB have released a load of guidance about what does constitute that. But interesting one, that.
Well, it was a clear, deliberate play of the ball. The ball travelled 30 yards before he kicked it. And, yeah, he was blatantly offside in the fact that he was never actually onside. But it still came off a Spain player. And we've seen it before, we've seen it in bigger matches than this. We saw it in the Champions League final. It was a debatable decision, even with the letter of the law, and this is where it comes into it. The letter of the law and how someone interprets it is still different. There's still that inconsistency.
Spain in possession, just inside their own half. I think it was a Mexican wave was trying to go round the stand there. Is it still going? Oh yeah, there it is. Well, that's the first one of this World Cup.
That's code for the game is up. That's code 4. We know the result.
We've still got 10 minutes of this half and then another 45. So do stay with us, listeners, because Spain are coming forward again. Here is Dani Olmo into the penalty area. Tried to pull the ball across. That's a brilliant covering challenge. It sends it behind for a Spain corner. Would have been, but the offside flag's gone out. Just going back to offside, used to be simple, didn't it? Because also what you've got to look at there is Joel Campbell becoming active by putting off Jordi Alba, by being too close to him, by trying to play the ball. I have to say, in that instance, I don't think that was the case, and I think you're right that it was a deliberate play of the ball from Jordi Alba. Anyway, the referee and the assistant have said no, we'll give it as offside, but this is where subjectivity comes into it as the ball goes out of play for a Spain throw on the halfway line.
Well, there's one thing that wasn't subjective about it. It was a really poor free kick, and it's one of the few opportunities that Costa Rica have had to get forward and get numbers in the box, and so far they've had two. One that they were offside for from the first free kick that they had, and that, where they were offside, debatable, yes, but still hit the near post man. Just the lack of quality. You know you've got to beat your best against these guys. You know you've got to play a perfect game. It's been far from it.
They are pressing as a pack though now, Costa Rica, which is something that Rob Green wanted them to do, and they have won the ball back on the halfway line. It won't be latched onto by their forward Contreras, and it's cleared out of play for a Spain throw on the halfway line.
Yeah, it's more of a contest then. All of a sudden it becomes a game in Spain's half, and you're playing in Spain's half, and the pressure is in Spain's half. You're running the risk of getting pushed in, taken in behind and just getting run, but you know what? You're 3-0 down already. What's there to lose?
Spain in possession in the centre circle as Pedri brings it forward, plays the ball forward, too much on it for Dani Olmo, and it goes out of play for a Costa Rica throw.
He doesn't stop. Luis Enrique doesn't stop. 3-0 up, 36 minutes gone, directing traffic. He's there. He's got a huge technical area down in front of us. He's covering every blade of grass on there.
Spain clear the ball midway through the Costa Rica half with Laporte. It's brought away for Costa Rica by Borges, and that's a good ball out to the left-hand side, and Jefferson Bennett, who will cut in the Sunderland teenager. Cleared away by Spain, well marshalled, but again Bennett just looking lively, looking like an outlet for Costa Rica if they can get him on that left-hand side, and they've done well to win it back with Calvo. Good little spell this for Costa Rica, but we put it in the context of Spain leading by 3-0. As Costa Rica come over the halfway line, forward to Joel Campbell, and now Keisha Fuller down the right-hand side. First time he's really been able to get involved in the play in an attacking sense, playing on the right wing, can also fill in further back, and further back is where the white shirts have been for most of this match, but they're coming down the left-hand side now. Pulled back in field to Bennett, who's off on another run. Lovely little skip to take him down to the byline. Pulls the ball across as well. Contreras is in there under pressure from Rodri, and Busquets between them, who marshal them away out of the penalty area. Ball played back in. Powerful header by Laporte, and Costa Rica will pick it up on this near side with Fuller. Plays it back to Joel Campbell. Good spell this for Costa Rica. Again, they have the overload on the left-hand side. Pull the ball back into the penalty area. Rodri with the header on the stretch. Gavi very, very calmly plays a bit of head tennis. Head 1-2 there, that was, with Busquets, and he's being swiped at by Carlos Martinez, but he's still got it, Gavi. He's been fouled, Gavi. That was brilliant from the youngster, and he actually got a pat on the head there from Brian Oviedo of Costa Rica.
Yeah, he managed to get through the press on his own. 3 of them, played round them, but better from Costa Rica. A bit of concerted pressure on the back line of Spain, and you're looking at them a little bit more confident on the ball, a little bit more confident off it. Just need to do that until half-time and see themselves through.
And it is 6.5 minutes plus added time to play at the end of this first half. Spain leading by 3-0. Olmo, Asensio and Torres from the penalty spot. Costa Rica, though, enjoying their best spell of the game, but it's come, as Rob Green says, when the pressure is off and you feel, surely, that the game is already lost. I know we've had shocks in this World Cup, but I'll tell you what, Saudi Arabia and Japan would have to take a back seat if Costa Rica were to get anything from here. But we're still being treated to some lovely Spain football and some flashes of inspiration from Jefferson Bennett of Sunderland for Costa Rica. Spain in possession though, on the right-hand side, back to Gavi, infield to Busquets, who will play the pass out to the right and Azpilicueta. Here is Ferran Torres, back to Gavi once more. Busquets is just drifting forward in that central position as the crowds raise the noise inside the stadium here. Spain leading by 3-0. Pedri out to the left-hand side, and now Jordi Alba in front of Luis Enrique, who is standing with his arms in his black trouser pockets on the edge of his technical area, watching his Spain side work it out down the right-hand side, ball into the area. Torres was in there. Costa Rica get it away as it flashes across the 6-yard box, picked up by Jordi Alba. It's getting to another period of the game where Costa Rica just can't clear their lines at the moment, and Spain have it once more. Here is Asensio. Busquets now in space, 35 yards out, tried to play the ball through once again, won't fall to Dani Olmo, cleared away by Martinez for Costa Rica, and collected by Joel Campbell, who turns away from Jordi Alba, plays it in field. Costa Rica work it out well to the right-hand side, and here they go with Keisha Fuller. A little bit of space opens up, well closed down by Spain, and Pedri, who comes across to that left-back position, infield to Borges, and now Campbell once again turns into Pedri, but does manage to smuggle it back to Borges. Campbell once more for Costa Rica midway through the Spain half, but they opt to go all the way back to the halfway line. Spain 3, Costa Rica 0, as it's spread by Duarte, who gave away that penalty for Spain's third, out to the left-hand side. Spain want an offside, not given. Eventually the flag does go up as Costa Rica play the ball into the penalty area, and it's a free kick to Spain.
I mean, there's no point in waiting. I understand when they have to wait that it's actually, if it's going to lead to a goal scoring opportunity. He was 40 yards out, he was 5 yards offside. Just put your flag up, please. There's a brilliant moment there with Busquets where he didn't have the ball, but he knew, closing down, his understanding aware of where everywhere was, that the only place that his opponent could get the ball to a teammate was through his legs. So he managed to close down with his legs shut. That takes some doing.
And he's in possession in the centre circle. Spain leading by 3-0 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. A reminder that you can download the World Cup Daily podcast all throughout the tournament, all the reaction, debate and analysis from BBC Sounds. And if you're interested in listening to more about the wider issues around the World Cup in Qatar, we've got a special episode of the Sports Desk for you as well, which looks at all of that. As Spain come down the right-hand side, back in field to Asensio. Has an option to play the ball in field to Pedri, but will interchange passes inside instead as Spain just knock it around once more, leading by 3-0 out to the left-hand side, and Jordi Alba now in field to Pedri. Nice little 1-2 attempted between Olmo and Asensio, cleared away by Costa Rica, but only as far as Rodri, and now Busquets, and Asensio will drive, well blocked by Borges up towards the halfway line, but those little 1-2s, it's clearly something that, well, we've seen them do it so many times, Spain, but it's come out quite a lot in this first half.
Yeah, what they do really well is find an area of space where 3 or 4 of them can congregate, and they all just amass in one area, and they bide the time to pick that spot and find that spot, but they always have an outball. They always have someone in space on the far side, so when they do have run out of options, they have that outball. And then when they do get it into that space where there is 2, 3, 4 of them, they can do their little passes, do their little interchanges.
Rodri in possession for Spain, plays it out to the right-hand side, and as Azpilicueta, only Laporte and Simon are inside the Spain half, as Spain do opt to go all the way back to Unai Simon, who has been a virtual spectator.
I was just thinking that he's not touched it with his hands yet.
And that tells you all you need to know. Spain come forward, Gavi almost getting in behind that Costa Rican back line, sent back by Oviedo to Keylor Navas, who clears the ball over the halfway line. Spain pick it up with Busquets, and now Azpilicueta out to the right-hand side. Ferran Torres is fouled, and it will be a Spain free kick. He is hauled to his feet, and Spain have the set piece, and they've taken it quickly. And Costa Rica just need to stay switched on here. They're in a good line at the back, but Spain just pushing, just probing, just so comfortable with this 3-0 lead, and the Lions share the dinosaurs share of possession.
Well, they conceded in the 11th minute, the 21st minute, the 31st minute. That's some achievement. They've not conceded in the 41st. They've nearly made it to half-time.
Good spots. Busquets plays it in field as Spain look to get this 4th goal as we enter the final minute of normal time at the end of this first half on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Jordi Alba flagged offside, and Luis Enrique down there applauding, pointing, always involved, as Rob Green says. His contract is up with Spain at the end of the year, incidentally. He says he won't sign a new one until after the World Cup, because if things go wrong, you, and by that he means the media, won't have to ask me to be fired.
Well, he's a fitness fanatic, isn't he? And it's a good job, really, because the amount of energy he expends on the touchline is incredible.
Spain collect the ball outside their own penalty area. Did you see that? We just almost got taken out by a pigeon. There it is. Oh, off it goes again. Right to left. That was a close one. Keep an eye on it, Rob, as Spain play the ball away from their own penalty area. Navas has come a long way out of his penalty area to collect it, but does so calmly under little pressure. And he'll clear the ball eventually up towards halfway. Now we'll pick it up first, and he's doing what you said he should do at 2-0. He's doing it at 3-0. He's just taking his time as we're into added time at the end of the first half.
Yeah, you just heard that there was 5 minutes added time, which, I mean, other than the goal celebrations, there's not been a stoppage, barely.
Whistle's already gone. Joel Campbell does go from range for Costa Rica, and it bounces on the roof of the net anyway. Well, it's something they are looking at this World Cup. Basically, any stoppage, that they're being very precise about how they measure it. So we've had a penalty award, we've had 2 other goals, but as you say, and also because Spain are so proficient in possession, the ball's been in play the vast majority of the time, other than when we've said they're doing really well and they kick it straight out. They've done it again. Yes, they have. It's 3 out of 3.
Well, you've scored 3, Costa Rica haven't, but it's I'll be interested to see that how many passes that Spain have put in this first half, because it is, yes, they've been allowed to do it, but it has been a huge amount of possession, and it's been so comfortable. They've just bopped it around at will, really.
Costa Rica trying to build down the left-hand side with Bennett once again. And again, he's putting on a little bit of pressure. The ball is all the way back to Unai Simon, and Spain will work it out with Rodri coming out of that penalty area. Off to Busquets now. His ball just ahead of Pedri, but will roll to Olmo as the ball is played back to Busquets in the centre circle. Reminder, coverage of every match from the World Cup on 5 Live and BBC Sounds across the tournaments, including one more this evening, Belgium against Canada, 7 o'clock, with John Murray and Dion Dublin. Here, Spain comfortable, very much so, leading by 3-0. Here is Laporte, picks it up midway through the Spain half and interchanges with Busquets, and now Rodri will play the ball through to Gavi, driving towards the penalty area. Asensio just stopped his run, so the ball is ahead of him into the box and cleared away at the back by Fuller, out for a Spain throw.
You don't realise how good your teammate is. That's when that happens, is that you see the space, you go and you think, oh, he's never going to make it, that pass in there. And you realise, actually, he's really, really good. He can make that pass, and he did, and I should have carried that run on.
So Spain in possession on the halfway line. Costa Rica have switched to this back 5 for now, so Fuller has dropped back into that right back position. He's stepping up now. It's one of those that they can switch when they get into possession, but they're just seeing so few of it at the moment. So a little tactical tweak there from Luis Fernando Suarez, because they're just trying to stop the sweeping, flowing Spain moves forward. Spain, who with 2 minutes of added time to play at the end of this first half, lead by 3-0.
Yeah, we thought it might be the case before the game. Pat touched on it, and you were just wondering, because they do effectively have 2 right backs in the side, and it does allow them to do that. But what it does do is just have a man less in midfield, and so it makes it that bit easier for Spain.
Now referee stop play here. It will be a free kick to Spain.
It hit him, and he almost didn't stop, which he has to do. Another directive that's come in over recent years, and it wasn't till Asensio looked at him and said, "What are you doing?" He went, "Oh yeah, sorry."
Maybe he's checked out before half-time as well.
He shouldn't put 5 minutes up.
To be fair, that's the 4th official. Pedri in possession, Spain leading by 3-0. as Rodri picks it up in the centre circle. Lovely track back from Busquets to find Pedri as Spain suddenly accelerate through the gears, looking for this fourth goal. Into the penalty area goes Asensio. Great sliding, covering challenge at the back from Duarte. And the block was enough to put off Asensio, and it's behind for the Costa Rica goal kick.
Yeah, did enough to put him off, and did enough to also not give away the corner, because the ball was travelling at such an angle for Asensio, but it was his dropping that played Asensio onside. Again, it's just the slickness of the passing, the ease of the passing, the ease of this first half. And
it has been very easy for Spain. Simon, who gathers the ball, has had very, very little to do, as Rob Green says. Well, he's touched the ball with his hands now, but just to roll it out.
Yep, 50 minutes in, and yeah, he'll be pleased for the touch, shall we say.
And there is the half-time whistle, a half that has gone very, very well for Spain. They've seen Germany falter, they've seen Argentina falter in their openers at this World Cup. But from here, Spain do not look like faltering. 3-0, they lead Costa Rica. And Rob Green, it's been as dominant as a performance as Luis Enrique could wish for.
Yeah, there was a number of question marks at the start of the game as how Barcelona were going to play, how Spain were going to play in terms of being able to break down Costa Rica. And it has been the Barcelona players, it has been Busquets, it has been Pedri and Gavi that have shone. Alba on the left, and you're looking at those guys and the pleasure that they're playing with each other and the understanding that they have with each other, that cutting through this Costa Rica team has been at ease.
It's been really entertaining to watch from a Spain perspective, but Kelly, I'm sorry, I don't think we're going to have a shock for you here. Very nice stuff from Spain, though. It's worth watching. Indeed.
But it is good to hear about that fantastic Spain performance, and to have a competition in which Spain are on the kind of form that we're looking at just now is going to be very exciting. Spain then, as Vicky was saying, 3-0 up against Costa Rica at half-time. For now, thank you very much to Vicky Sparks and to Rob Green. We'll be back at the Altamama Stadium for the second half of that one. We'll also be with a jubilant Japan after their shock 2-1 win over Germany earlier. We'll check in with Dion Dublin as well. He's one half of our commentary team for the fourth game of the day. That's back to Group F, and that is Belgium against Canada. Earlier on in that same group, it finished Morocco 0, Croatia 0. So we'll look ahead to the rest of the games to come today, or the game and a half to come today, after the BBC News with Richard Foster.
Take the World Cup with you. Qatar 2022.
On BBC Sounds, this is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Nicola Sturgeon says the next general election will be a de facto referendum on Scottish independence. She's lost her legal case to try to force another vote without the consent of the Westminster government, which so far it's refused. The former Supreme Court Justice Lord Sumption says the result was never in doubt.
The Scottish Parliament cannot deal with reserved matters, and those include matters relating to the Union of England and Scotland. It seems perfectly obvious that an act of the Scottish Parliament authorising a referendum on independence would relate to the Union of England and Scotland. It would extinguish it.
A senior barrister called Adam Tolley is going to lead an investigation into bullying complaints made against Dominic Raab. He specialises in commercial and employment law. The Deputy Prime Minister denies any wrongdoing. The Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, has admitted the government has failed to control the UK's borders. She's told MPs the blame lies with people smugglers, but says the Home Office needs to improve its efficiency. Russia's launched another wave of missile strikes across Ukraine. At least 3 people were killed in the capital Kyiv, and power supplies have been disrupted across the country and also in neighbouring Moldova. Police are investigating homophobic hate mail sent to the former rugby referee Nigel Owens. He came out as gay in 2007 and thinks the letters could have happened due to the World Cup. Former Wales international Gareth Thomas has also received homophobic messages. A British Paralympic sprinter has been selected to take part in astronaut training by the European Space Agency. John McFall could become the first disabled person in space. He'll work with engineers as part of a feasibility study to see what needs to be adapted and redesigned. Andrew Koo is from the UK Space Agency.
Astronauts are the most visible part of what we do in the space industry. They're just one part of it, but they're the part that really excites the public's imagination. So showing that the space industry as a whole is welcoming of people from all backgrounds is a really important message to send.
And Waitrose has changed part of its Christmas advert after a backlash from skin cancer patients. The original one featured 2 farmers comparing their suntans. Travel now, here's Ellie Brennan.
In the latest travel news, in Greater Manchester on the M60 anti-clockwise, the exit slip road to the M62 westbound is partially blocked at junction 12. That's because of emergency repairs. Congestion is back to the Swinton interchange. The M48-7 bridge has been closed in both directions because of strong winds this afternoon. Expect delays there, particularly on the M4 Prince of Wales bridge, where you will be diverted. In Oxfordshire on the M40 northbound, 2 lanes are closed after junction 11 for Banbury. That's because of emergency bridge repairs. Congestion is back to Brackley at junction 10. And in London on the A406 North Circular northbound, there's 2 lanes closed at Coney Hatch interchange. That's because of an accident earlier and subsequent repair work. Congestion is back to Finchley. Ellie Brennan, 5 Live Travel.
It's 50 years since England and Scotland's first ever official Women's International.
We were just girls playing football, but we didn't realise we were making history.
I'm Anita Asanti. In my new podcast series, I'm going to learn more about the women who played that day in 1972.
I went past one person and shot, and it at least gave us a chance. We were 2-2 then.
And how it led to a brighter future for the Scottish game and onto England's Euro 2022 glory.
I feel so lucky listening to those stories. Attitudes like that are what has taken the game to how it is today.
My Moment in History, kicking off the women's game on BBC Sounds.
BBC 5 Live.
The FIFA World Cup, Qatar 2022 with Kelly Cates.
Alba whips it in, a little bit of space for Olmo. Will dink through again, looking for Olmo, brings it down brilliantly. 1-0 Spain. It's a lovely goal from Dani Olmo. Finding space on the left-hand side now. Jordi Alba whips the ball in. Oh, that's a brilliant goal. It's met fabulously by Asensio. First time, brilliant ball from Alba. Brilliant finish from Asensio. Spain lead Costa Rica 2-0. The penalty's been given and Spain, inside the opening half an hour, have a chance to make it 3-0. Ferran Torres against Keylor Navas. And it's calmly done by Torres. It's rolled into the net. Navas went the wrong way, and Spain are running away with this already.
They are 3-0 up at half-time against Costa Rica. We'll be back to the Altamama Stadium for the second half of that one with Vicky Sparks and Rob Green very shortly. Then at 7 o'clock, it's Belgium against Canada. Full commentary of that, as there is of every single game throughout this World Cup. And as we heard earlier, a huge story as Japan came from 1-0 down to beat Germany 2-1. The winning goal scored by Takuma Asano.
Oh, lovely touch by Asano into the penalty area. Asano! What a finish! Oh my word! What a sting in the tail! But what a touch! High ball downfield. Asano killed it dead right-footed and then rifled the ball past Neuer.
It's a dream come true.
Yes, we could do it. We had a dream like this today, but we just could do it. Yeah.
Did you watch Argentina yesterday? It's similar for you?
Yes, we watched that game. Then we thought we can do it. Then we just did it today. Only that.
They thought they could do it, and they did. Takuma Asano there speaking after his goal, which saw Japan beat Germany by 2-1. I'm not sure anyone enjoyed it more than Chris Sutton as the co-commentator in that game, maybe apart from football journalist Dan Orlovitz, who covers Japanese football and joins us now from Tokyo. Dan, what an unexpected result by everyone except Chris Sutton, who said that he predicted it, but I'm not sure everybody else was quite as sanguine.
You know what? I don't think that any of us, given the expectations we had for this Japan side heading into this game, would have expected a 2-1 win. And I say that knowing how much potential this squad has. This is an incredible result, probably the biggest result in the history of Japanese football. This is incredible. That I'm running out of words, and that maybe because it's 2 a.m. here. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine there's a lot of people not sleeping at the moment. The excitement of that result is so huge. And we saw the celebrations of the squad, the players, the backroom staff. Everybody was on the pitch after the game in a huddle on the touchline celebrating that result. What's the reaction been like in Tokyo and across Japan?
Fans here in Tokyo are jubilant. The famous scramble crossing in Shibuya, that is sort of where fans who have been watching games at bars congregate after World Cup games, and it's been packed immediately after around midnight when the last trains have basically already left the station. You see just thousands of them celebrating in the crossing, of course, when there's a red light and they're allowed to cross. I think people are stunned. You looked at the first half and how tight it was, and you weren't quite sure. You figured, well, maybe Japan can fight back and get the draw. But again, you look at what Saudi Arabia did to Argentina yesterday, and you start thinking, well, maybe it is possible, even against Germany, Germany that outpassed Japan up and down the pitch, and then they went and did it.
As you said, there is a very technically gifted Japan side that hasn't quite reached the heights that it potentially could. Does this mark a turning point for this Japan squad?
I think that this game gives Japan confidence, and that's the one thing that they really needed. We saw very hesitant Japan in the first half, and then Moriyasu made the changes that he did, and that really turned the game around. And I think now you realize, well, if you can play like this for 45 minutes, you can play like this for 90 minutes, and you can't just play this for 90 minutes against Costa Rica, but you can play those 90 minutes against Spain, and then quite possibly whoever Japan will face in the round of 16. So that confidence and that conviction that they can beat the world's best will take them as far as they want to go in this tournament.
It was so exciting watching them. As you said, there's been so much excitement in Japan, and now there will be a degree, maybe not of expectation, but certainly of renewed hope. We saw after Saudi Arabia got their fantastic win against Argentina, there was a national holiday. I can't imagine any plans like that are on the cards. It's not quite that big an upset, is it?
The funny thing is that today, Wednesday, was actually a national holiday.
Oh, was it?
Was Labor Thanksgiving. So people had time to relax today and enjoy the game however they did. But I'm sure there will be a lot of bleary eyes and coffee consumption at work in the morning. It's going to be a tough one for a lot of fans here. The game finished at midnight. But if there was any question of how excited the Japanese public is for this World Cup, it has been answered. It's going to be an amazing atmosphere, an amazing buzz in this country for the last two group stage games.
Dan, thanks so much for staying up to the early hours of the morning to talk to us. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much to Dan Olovitz there, who covers Japanese football in Tokyo, reflecting on that fantastic result for Japan earlier on. Germany, of course, on the receiving end of that defeat earlier this afternoon. Here's İlkay Gundogan's reaction.
We have no other choice, to be honest, than try to be confident, and play on the best possible level, because unfortunately, because of the result today, that's already our first final. So every game now it's going to be a final. I think it could have been better if we would have won today, obviously. The pressure wouldn't be that high, but now with that result today, we have to win it. I think in general with the performance, we know there is maybe still a lack, of certain things. But when you look just on paper, I think we were quite dominant, and at the end of the day, we had the chances, we had the chances to score earlier, the second one, even the third one, to be honest. Where the keeper was also doing well. We hit the post, or I think the crossbar once, and I hit the post. So I don't think we played that bad, to be honest.
That was İlkay Gundogan, and German football journalist Marie Schulte-Bochum is with us now. Maria, I don't think anybody saw that coming, and they certainly didn't see it coming after about an hour of that game.
Yeah, you're right. On paper, it was very much an unbalanced game. By the final whistle, Germany had 9 shots on target, but the only goal that they did score was a penalty kick. So, as İlkay Gundogan said in his answer, it's also a tale of missed opportunities.
Because of that, because of the chances that Germany created, because of the chances that they missed, how much of a reaction has there been to that defeat? Is it seen as something that is just one of those things that happens in football, or are there questions being asked about this Germany squad?
I would say Germany is a very proud footballing nation where all the fans and the public and even the players themselves very much expected to win this game against Japan. So the reception to this result is very bad. People are unhappy. People are being criticized. And for once, I guess the focus is now on the sport and the lack of a performance, because in the last few days, ever since Monday, where it was announced that Germany wouldn't be wearing the One Love armband, that Captain Manuel Neuer would not be wearing that. That has been the focus of the discussion in Germany. It's all been about human rights. You had German supermarkets chain Rewe, which is equivalent to maybe a Sainsbury's or Waitrose or Tesco's that size. They're one of the key sponsors of the German national team. They pulled out as a reaction to Germany kind of giving into FIFA. And then, of course, we had that moment before the game where for the official team photo, the German players covered their mouths as if they had been silenced. So the storyline up to now has been very much off the pitch. But now with this result, I expect the public and the media in Germany to focus a lot more on the downside of the performance on the pitch as well.
Marie, thank you very much for joining us. Marie Schulte-Bochum there to reflect on Germany's defeat by Japan. We will be back to the Altamama Stadium very shortly, where the second half is just about to get underway. Rob Green and Vicky Sparks will take us through that very quickly, though. Dion Dublin is going to be working on Belgium against Canada. You'll be bringing us every kick of the ball in that one from 7 o'clock. Dion, what are you expecting?
Energy from Canada, energy, very young manager, but they've got some exciting players. All about Alphonso Davies is a key player for them. If they can keep him quiet, then I'm imagining this, if they get it right, it could be an easy night for Belgium. They've got so many good players. We know how strong their squad is, so they have to stay in the game, Canada, and they might surprise a few people with their energy levels, but the quality is all in that Belgium dressing room.
We've already had shocks so far in this World Cup. Dion, thank you very much for joining us. Belgium-Canada is live on BBC One later, and that means you can watch all the match build-up via the iPlayer with 5 Live's coverage on the top of it. It includes all the players arriving, and then it covers the warm-up on the pitch and the stadium as it fills up right up until kick-off. You can then watch the match with our commentary, if you like. Just search for World Cup Extra on BBC iPlayer. Rachel Burden, if you're listening, I heard on Breakfast she's having a few technical difficulties in managing to do that. Search for World Cup Extra on BBC iPlayer and tune in for Rick and Rachel first thing in the morning from 6 o'clock. Now, though, with Spain 3-0 up against Costa Rica, the second half underway at the Altamama Stadium. Here's Rob Green and Vicky Sparks.
Thanks, Kelly. Yes, 90 seconds played. Spain leading Costa Rica by 3-0, and Costa Rica have made a change at half-time in the back line. Kendall Waston is on and Carlos Martinez has been replaced. So it looks as though Costa Rica are starting this second half with the back 4. They did end with a back 5, having started the match with the back 4. So interesting to see how that develops. But Spain in possession, leading by 3-0. And the message from Luis Enrique, Rob Green, would be what coming out into this second half?
Enjoy yourselves. More of the same. You played with absolute joy in that first half. So much confidence against a side who let you play how you want to play. If you asked him, how would you like Costa Rica to turn up and what shape would you like them to play, they pretty much did it for them. Hopefully, for their sakes, they'll put a different shape out, different formation, different performance.
Spain, though, putting in the same performance. Asensio from the edge of the box, just over the bar, as Pilaqueta it was, cutting in from the right-hand side. Fed Asensio on the edge of the D. He's already scored once this evening. It's over the bar and into those Costa Rica fans away to our right.
Yeah, it's a 4-2-3-1 that Costa Rica has set up in the second half defensively, but that just creates space in front of the fullbacks. And Cesar Azpilicueta, my old teammate at Chelsea, he's a clever guy. He'll work that out pretty quick, and he walked straight into that space, drove inside, and it's actually a wasteful opportunity stream from Asensio. You're expecting him on his favoured left foot to hit the target at least.
So Costa Rica in possession. Well, they've just lost it with Joel Campbell all in white. They've won it back with Francisco Calvo. Spain all in red, playing from left to right as Joel Campbell picks it up for Costa Rica. Down the left-hand side goes Oviedo, pulls it in, a little bit of space for Jewison Bennett of Sunderland, cleared away from him though, and Busquets will play it forward, looking for Asensio over the halfway line. He goes. Spain leading by 3-0. Here is Pedri outside the penalty area, feeds Dani Olmo, left-hand side of the box, plays it forward. Navas is there and gathers easily just on the edge of that 6-yard box.
Yeah, they pick up the space so well on the break, on that counter-attack, and this Spain side looks so threatening against Costa Rica. What I would say is they haven't got any real blistering pace in the Spain team, and you're thinking in games in the future and you get tipped against teams where they may need to break up pace, they may not get the luxury of all the ball that they've got in this first half at least, that you're saying, okay, look at England, how they ran back, how they tracked back, how physical they were in closing down Iran. When you come up against the likes of the guys who can do that, I wonder where they're going to come from and get that space and get that counter-attack going. 5
minutes gone in this second half. Spain in possession on the halfway line with Pedri forward to Asensio, out to the left-hand side. They go once more and Dani Olmo will pick it up. And now Pedri once more switches the play to Azpilicueta on the halfway line, and now back to Rodri, forward to Busquets, won't keep it in, and Oviedo, the scream of frustration because he was coming up trying to start the Costa Rica counter-attack down the left-hand side, but had he left it, it would have just gone out for a Costa Rica throw. Instead, he got a foot on it, couldn't control it, and it's a throw to Spain, which Azpilicueta will take.
It was eyes bigger than his belly there. He could see the space in front of him, and he knew that if he got the touch right, but the chances were, because he was on the stretch, he just couldn't get it right. Wasted possession.
So Spain in possession inside their own half with Simon in goal, the back four of Azpilicueta, Rodri filling in at centre-half today alongside his Manchester City teammate Laporte and Alba make up the back line. Gavi, Busquets and Pedri in the midfield with Torres, Asensio and Olmo up front, and it is that front three that have all netted for Spain this afternoon. Spain still in possession just inside their own half with Laporte. An interesting role that Duarte's taking up here, sometimes coming into midfield, then into the back line as Spain come forward, and Gavi has it on the right hand side. Here is Ferran Torres, whips the ball across, it's cleared away at the back by Fuller and out for a Spain throw.
You know what they've done is they have put 5 at the back, but one of them is going into midfield, whoever it may be, and they're swapping and changing to go into the midfield, and Spain haven't worked it out yet, but all they need to do is one of them pull out and one of them make the run in behind where the space is, and they'll be in. It's strength in numbers by Costa Rica, but it's still going to leave space in behind them.
Ball into the penalty area, will be cleared away by Oviedo. He's under pressure though, and under that pressure runs it straight out for the corner, and that's well played by Pedri. It's a mistake from the experienced Brian Oviedo, and it's a corner to Spain.
Yeah, we saw from one of the goals in the first half from the penalty, it's given away by just a relentless pressure, and that's just this confidence they have from the back line. The likes of Rodri just stood there going, go boys, go press, I got to take care of this.
Corner played short by Spain. They work it out to this right hand side, and Dani Olmo with Asensio tries the 1-2. Olmo will find it down by the byline, pulls the ball across, cleared away from inside the Costa Rican penalty area and out up towards halfway with Keisha Fuller. Won't reach Joel Campbell though, and now it's opening up for Spain down this right hand side as Piliqueta won't find Torres, does find Pedri. Olmo runs into Calvo, and Spain have it back with Jordi Alba as Costa Rica gets into their back line. They have Navas in goal, the back four now, slight reshuffle, so Fuller's gone over to right back. Duarte at the moment has dropped into that centre half position. It's Duarte who makes the interception there. Calvo and Oviedo make up the current back line, although Waston, who's come in, is now dropping back into that back five as well. So they are switching, aren't they? Because Duarte is sometimes stepping up into the midfield to make it a 4, and now it's Waston stepping up from that back 3 to make it a 4. It's pressure that is being employed by those two centre halves for Costa Rica, Duarte and Waston. Ahead of them you have Tejeda and Borges in the midfield. Over on the far side now is Contreras. Jewison Bennett over on this left-hand side, and Joel Campbell has gone up through the centre.
Yes, interesting tactic, interesting ploy from Costa Rica.
Gavi coming down the right-hand side for Spain. Lovely control by Ferran Torres. He then ran into Cabo. Still has it. Ferran Torres slides it underneath Navas. He has his second of the game. Spain have their fourth. And Costa Rica are falling apart here. Spain 4, Costa Rica 0.
It's just so easy. Combination of passes. Ferran Torres gets it wrong initially in the first tackle. Gets blocked. And then the Costa Rican defence all just stand and watch, allow him to pick the ball up again, and then it's just too late. He's got enough of the goal to hit. Keylor Navas can't get back. It's a mess. The problem with strength in numbers is it's too many cooks. One of you's got to take control of the situation. They're trying to go man to man, but the movement of Spain is such that they don't know who's going to go for the man that's in space. Therefore, it's a bit after you. They're all just waiting, all just backing off, and slots it home from 6 yards unchallenged. And unfortunately for them, it's more of the same.
More of the same for Spain. That will certainly make them smile, but as Rob says, more of the same for Costa Rica as well. In Costa Rica it is who get us underway. Ferran Torres with his seconds of the game. Spain have 4. And they are not, we can say with confidence, going to go the way of Argentina. They are not going to go the way of Germany in their opening match at this World Cup.
Oh, Alvaro Morata is stripped and ready to come on, and there's a guy who thrives on confidence and thrives on goals, and he's got a good 35 minutes to bag some goals here and get his confidence going and get himself into the tournament. Changes are being rung. He's not on his own.
Yeah, and why not from Luis Enrique's point of view? 4-0 Spain lead Costa Rica, and we still, as Rob says, have 35 minutes to play here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Belgium against Canada coming up at 7 o'clock, but Spain aren't done here. Dani Olmo 1-2 inside the penalty area, twisting one way then the other. Ball will come across to Ferran Torres. Oviedo got there with the header. Is behind for a Spain corner.
Well, you're at the point now where you, as a professional, you're saying, for Costa Rica, you're saying, right, professional pride, we don't want to lose by more than 5, we don't want to lose by more than 6. Let's just keep it down, because it just hurts from now on in. It's just a number that's going to look really, really bad.
So here is the first change, and Ferran Torres will not be getting a hat-trick. He is coming off, and Morata is coming on. Pedri, another of those being replaced, and he will make way for Carlos Soler. So a chance for Morata to come on and perhaps make an immediate impact from this corner, as it's whipped in by Asensio, cleared away by Navas, comes out to Jordi Alba, out to the left-hand side, and Rodri will lift it in, and it's cleared away by Waston for another Spain corner.
Yet to see the shape of Spain, because it's just been at one corner led to another, and I'd imagine Morata to go up front and Asensio to come out onto this right-hand side. The problems don't change for Costa Rica. What you would say is that Pedri and Torres have proved their point for the game, proved how important they are to the team, and can rest up and get ready for the next one.
Yeah, very much so. For Spain, Dani Olmo and Asensio between them decide to take the corner short, and Costa Rica only had one player there defending. It was Jefferson Bennett, but they do manage to marshal Spain back towards the halfway line, and then a missed control from Asensio will give Bennett and Costa Rica a throw. Spain 4, Costa Rica 0.
Not criticising them too often in this game, Spain, but yeah, that was a bit schoolboyish, because they played the short corner and then realised that they were offside because no one was on the line for Costa Rica.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It was a 2-on-1 if they got it right, but they didn't.
Therein lies the detail.
Indeed. So Spain in possession just outside their own penalty area. We have already had another almighty shock at the World Cup today. If you're just joining us, Japan coming from behind to beat Germany by 2-1. Morocco 0-0 with Croatia ahead of that, and Belgium against Canada to come on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 13.5 minutes gone in this second half. Spain 4, Costa Rica 0, and Unai Simon again just employing that tactic that we touched on earlier in the first half. It's something that Luis Enrique likes the entire team to do. Very explicitly, he said he wants Simon to do it as well, just draw the opponents in, although Simon decides to go safety first up to the halfway line there. But that's the approach, isn't it? If there's an opponent closing me down, yes, as a goalkeeper it looks risky, but if everybody does their jobs, it leaves somebody else unmarked.
You will always have a pass. The other team have a goalkeeper, and the opposition's goalkeeper will not be pressing. He won't be marking, so you are the spare man. And if you can do it and you get it right and you back yourself to do it, then it works.
Spain in possession, just outside their own penalty area. Here is Busquets, spreads the play out to Azpilicueta. Costa Rica are preparing a double change as well, as Asensio plays it forward. Appeal of offside against Morata. Flag stays down for now. Morata, right-hand side of the penalty area, tries to pull the ball across. Waston gets it in. A little backhill by Olmo to keep it in, as Waston blocked it away. And it's cleared away eventually by Costa Rica. Lovely improvisation by Dani Olmo, and the flag hasn't gone up yet, so that might well have been onside for Morata, although of course VAR would have had a look at it should it have come to anything. But lovely skill from Olmo.
Yeah, it's great improvisation, and well, I think he timed that really well, that Alvaro Morata. I think he just second guessed himself as he was going through, and the ball was in there to play, to slide it across the goal. He just didn't take that opportunity. Maybe in 10 minutes time, a little bit sharper, he would have done.
So Spain with the ball just outside their own penalty area. Spain, who are heading for just their third victory in their last 8 World Cup games, after winning the 2010 edition, the first in their history, and they're coming forward again. Gavi goes down and will win a free kick just inside the Costa Rica half.
If he doesn't get booked here, that was almost just a slap on the side of the head from Calvo. He had one challenge in the first half that should have been a booking. That he was beaten and he was away there, and Gavi was gone. He should be off.
But he's not. He is reprieved, and Costa Rica will make a double change. Alvaro Zamora, one of their youngsters in the squad, just 20 years of age, never actually played in the qualifiers, comes on at his first World Cup. And a special moment for Brian Ruiz as well, as Olmo drives some distance over the bar for Spain. The former Fulham man, Costa Rican legend, will retire after this World Cup, becomes the oldest Costa Rican player at a World Cup. He's off the bench, 37 years of age. His side are trailing by 4-0. But what a servant he has been to this Costa Rican national side.
No, England's nemesis, one of those World Cups.
Indeed.
And, certain manager was not best pleased with him. His former Fulham manager, Roy Hodgson, was up at 37 with 29 minutes to go.
Impact player?
One plan, go on and change the game for us.
Easy peasy, 4-0 down to Spain. See what you can do. But we have seen a bit of playing without pressure at times from Costa Rica, particularly after the third goal went in, and that's all they can do, isn't it? Like you said, Rob Green, at that point, just go out, just learn from it, try to keep it now to 4.
Yeah, I think you're looking at playing against some of the great European players in this side, and players of masters of finding space and how to solve problems on the pitch, and using your intuition and your understanding of football. And they're always thinking, they're always understanding ways to change the game.
And they're coming forward now. Morata inside the penalty area, took the shot early past that near post, which Navas had covered.
Yeah, it was a good run, a good ball into his former Chelsea teammate Alvaro Morata from Azpilicueta. The angle was never there from him, but I don't think he really knew where his teammates were. There wasn't really anyone up in support, so took the shot on, was never on.
So a double change being made for Spain. Busquets, one of the players coming off, as is Jordi Alba, and on will come Koke. And what a moment this is for Alejandro Balde. He was a late call-up after Jose Gaya, who had been named in the squad, injured his ankle in training. He makes his Spain debut at a World Cup. It was his first senior call-up. He's impressed for Barcelona this season, the youngster, but yes, they're 4-0 up. Yes, this game is won, but that is still a choice from Luis Enrique to say, look, 3 days ago, you didn't even think you'd be here. You didn't imagine you'd be here, but then a late injury and you get your opportunity in a match we've already won. But this is what I'm going to do. And it's just typical, isn't it, of how he manages the young players at his disposal.
Well, as Guillaume was saying before the game, it's more of a club mentality, and we're going to bed people for the future and put people in for the future, and he is one for the future. He is a talent, and I tell you what, Costa Rica, having a look, they've been up against Alba all that time, who was fantastic for the time that he was on. They won't be grateful for Balde coming on, because he is sharp, he's direct, he's quick, he wants to get forward, he wants to run at people. And you've got tiring legs and tiring minds. You don't need that.
Yeah, just 19 years of age, as Azpilicueta has it just outside his own penalty area, turning away from the former Everton and Sunderland man Brian Oviedo and winning the throw as well. But yes, as you say, real breakthrough season at club level, starting regularly for Barcelona and on for a taste of World Cup action on his Spain debut. Huge moment for the teenager. And Spain leading by 4-0, 20 minutes played in the second half here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. A reminder, you can listen to all the latest debates and analysis and reaction from the World Cup on the World Cup Daily podcast. Just download that from BBC Sounds every day all throughout the tournament. And here goes Balde racing down the left-hand side, lays it off to Dani Olmo, went for the 1-2. Balde looked as though he didn't quite get there, and the flag in the end does go up. Just didn't keep that in there, but tell you what, he's not come on to settle for 4-0 or shore up the defence. He's bombing down that left-hand side, as he likes to do, the young left-back. And I think we might see a bit more of him in this game.
Yep, he's quick, but he's not as quick as his teammate Dani Olmo thought he was, because that was a fair old pass for him to chase, and he nearly got there.
21 minutes played, Spain 4, Costa Rica 0, as Costa Rica play it out from the back. They've been so dominant in this match. What does this tell us? How much does this tell us about how Spain are going to do at this tournament?
You're tempted to say not a lot, really. I mean, the strength of the opposition, and they really just haven't made it difficult. You're thinking, yes, technically we're not as good as Spain. We're organised, or we can get organised, we can make it difficult. They just haven't. They've made it a walk in the park for them. And realistically, you're looking at the subs they're making, they're blooding youngsters, they're resting old legs. They know the game's up. Spain know that they've won the game. They've won it since 15 minutes in. It's been a cruise for them, much like England in their game, really. How do you assess against such opposition?
Spain in possession, winning that free kick for offside, and Gavi will play it back in fields to Koke, and Spain have it once more. What are you looking for, if you're Luis Enrique, then, for the final half of this half?
I think he's looking for more understanding from his players of how to play in the shape that they want to play, because they won't have had much build-up like the rest of the team, and it really is a good exercise for them this last half hour.
Here goes Gavi outside the penalty area, just overran it. It was well read by Calvo, and the ball is cleared away by Costa Rica. Calvo, oh, that's a terrible challenge, goes sliding in there. Oh, Calvo, yellow card. Well, he's playing on the edge. We've said that all match, Rob Green. He's got a yellow there. It was out very quickly, but my word, that wasn't a good challenge at all.
It was a strong yellow, a strong yellow, an orange almost, and it's, you know what, it could have been off a couple of times here. Studs are up, does get a touch on the ball, but it's dangerous, it's reckless, and in the modern game it's fractions away from a really serious injury.
I think what saves him there is he does pull his leg back slightly and his feet are on the ground, but both feet are going at some pace as Spain make their final change. Asensio is coming off, and Nico Williams, not that one, Spain's Nico Williams, is coming on.
Yep, another exciting talent, Asensio, showing it in flashes today, much like his game time in his club. Does moments of brilliance, There's moments where he frustrates you. Again, another youngster coming on. It's just a wonderful opportunity, not just a wonderful opportunity for them, but really important just to get themselves into a World Cup, because you don't know when you're going to be needed. It could be in a couple of weeks' time and you're not kicked a ball in a game.
Here goes Dani Olmo down the left-hand side for Spain. Plays it back to Balde, young left back, and now Koke. Substitutes combining as Spain whip it out to this right-hand side, and as Pilaqueta, nicely controlled, plays the ball into the area. The header across goal is patted down expertly by Navas from Olmo, with Morata lurking.
There's 2 players in the box, 4 Costa Rica players in the box. They're not marking either of them. I mean, you've got one job. You're defending the goal. Mark the men.
Zonal marking?
It didn't work.
Well, it wasn't really doing that either, was it?
They weren't in the
They're in the
zones.
wrong zone, indeed. Spain in possession on the halfway line. Here is Gavi. Will send it back to Rodri, who taps it away from Brian Ruiz. One player who could really do with a goal out there, Alvaro Morata.
Yep, lives off the confidence of the goals, and he's played before. We spoke to Guillaume at other tournaments about him, and having played with him at Chelsea, you just feel you just want to give him a hug. You want him to do so well. He's such a nice guy, and you just feel like he just needs things to fall in place for him at times. And a goal, anything in this game, just give him that little push in the right direction for him.
Rob Green with us here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 25 minutes played in the second half. Spain leading Costa Rica by 4-0, and as Pilaqueta has it on the halfway line. Yes, 5 goals he has scored for Atletico Madrid this season, Alvaro Morata. He was actually their top scorer of Spain at the Euros, but he's a player that comes in for so much stick. And Luis Enrique, I remember constantly having to defend him through the Euros. Yes, he misses some pretty big chances that he really should put away, but Luis Enrique pointing to his overall record for Spain in terms of numbers. But it's the key ones at key moments that people remember, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 1 in 2, and I think the worst thing that happened to him was that he was the player to replace Diego Costa at Chelsea, and he's not many people are Diego Costa, and it was the direct comparisons there that really sort of hit home, and it wasn't something that's not his game, so why compare him?
Costa Rica preparing to make another change, and they are resting, I'm going to call them older legs rather than old legs, Rob Green. The older legs of Celso Borges, their most capped player. He is making way, and Brandon Aguilera will come on. And again for Costa Rica, I mean, as you said, to be honest, after half an hour they knew the game's gone, but Borges an important player still if they want to try and keep some momentum in the game. You know the game's gone at that point, but you can't make a raft of changes then, because 4-0's a hammering. It can be worse.
Yeah, you're looking at the next games that they've got. You're looking at games with a quick turnaround. You can very little that you can change, and in next coming games, Japan buoyed by that win. Germany will be desperately keen to bounce back from the defeat. So they've got it all to do if they're even going to register in this tournament, because on this evidence, they're very, very compelling evidence that they're not going to.
Trailing by 4-0, and it's Spain coming forward once more. Here is Gavi, suddenly the acceleration through the gears, well intercepted in the centre and cleared away by Keisha Fuller. Good driving run over the halfway line out to the right-hand side. Back to Fuller once more. He's surrounded by red shirts, trying to trick his way past, but he can't do so. And it's forward to Morata, and Olmo is off and away to his left. Just about keeps it in on that left-hand touchline. The red shirts, just 2 of them arriving now into the area. It was left for Morata because Nico Williams knew he'd straight offside, and easy for Navas to gather. Where's the there's the Mexican wave. There it is. You can hear it going around, listeners. It's got to say, it's not going around with the same energy that it did, it did in the first half.
Not the same amount of people either.
Now, could Costa Rica fashion a chance here? Joel Campbell into the penalty area. Flag stays down, eventually goes up. Saved by the back heel in the end of Unai Simon, but the flag had already gone up. It's one of those where either put it up straight away or allow the move to play out. What's the point of letting Joel Campbell run 15 more yards into the penalty area and then stopping it?
Well, he does receive the ball, therefore makes him offside, but there wasn't a point where he was onside again. And it's so obvious that he's going to get to the ball first because he was yards offside. That's why he's getting there first, and you still have to wait.
Spain look to pick up the ball on the left-hand side, and do manage to do so with Balde, and off he goes again using that turn at pace. The Barcelona youngster, oh what a run, this is slighted into Morata, flag stays down, Navas, good touch on it, forces the ball and Morata out of the penalty area, ball back in, Gavi, oh brilliant goal, what a fantastic goal, edge of the box, first time, in off the post, Spain have 5, and Gavi becomes their youngest goal scorer at a World Cup. Spain 5, Costa Rica 0.
It's a wonderful finish, outside of the boot, edge of the box, in off the post. It's not as good as the run from Balde to build up to it. He ran past 4-5 Costa Rican players. The only question, does Morata stray offside? Maybe his left toe, maybe his fraction of his left foot. There's nothing to take away from it, because the vision from Morata then to find Gavi is equal to and more from the finish. It's a wonderful finish. Just the cleverness of how to do it. I'm going to lend it with the outside of the foot, fade it into that far corner. It's going to go to the semi-automated machine to be checked. Not everyone's back, ready to start again.
It is one of those where, when it was played, I thought, well, maybe Morata's offside. I wonder if they would almost count it as a second phase because Navas makes the initial save. But it's one of those that, again, Costa Rica will feel, well, if that was offside, just put your flag up.
No, I don't think it was. It was tight, but he was onside. You're down to fractions of inches of people's body parts, and evidently it's another to the tally, an assist for Morata. He'll be looking for that goal now.
So 15 minutes to go, Spain 5-0 lead Costa Rica, and as we hit that final 15 minutes, 842 passes for Spain, 159 for Costa Rica.
Well, Costa Rica will say there's been over 1,000 passes in the game, and we've been a part of that.
Always taking the positives, Rob Green, here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. But it's been impressive from Spain, as Rob says. Difficult to know how much store to set by this, but it's the old adage, isn't it? You can only beat what's in front of you, and they've been very good today as they have it over on that left-hand side as the Mexican wave goes round again, just going through the Spain fans over there with the red and yellow flags. Rodri in possession for Spain in the centre circle.
I'm just pleased you didn't question my maths there.
Oh, now you got me thinking. No, you're right. I think over 1,000 it is. Spain lose possession just inside the Costa Rica half as the attendance is announced just over 40,000. We have been talking about the capacities in this World Cup. It's one of these where the official capacities are actually given a slightly smaller for various reasons. FIFA reserve a few seats for the media and others, so the actual capacities, if you've noticed this trend, they're actually higher than the official ones. We have been assured that that's realistically because there are more seats in the stadium, so just over 40,000 here. But we have to say, in terms of the number of seats filled, at no point does it really look as though it has been near to what will be slightly over 40,000 real life capacity.
No, I'm not calling anyone out or saying anyone's a liar, but I would say this was about 3/4 full from the start and hasn't filled up to capacity anywhere near.
Costa Rica with the free kick just outside the centre circle, trailing Spain by 5 goals to 0. And we were talking about Gavi before the match. Rob became their youngest World Cup debutant when he started this game, and now becomes their youngest World Cup goal scorer as well at the tender age of 18. Thoughts on him in a moment as Costa Rica swing the ball into the area, and the foul goes against Costa Rica on. They're not too happy with this. Waston has got right up. There's a bit of pushing and shoving, and all out of nowhere it's suddenly boiling over. Waston has now moved himself away from that, whether he's away from the argument or away from the referee as quickly as he can be, and the referee has said, no, hang on, you've gone up to the halfway line, you can come back now because I'm going to have a conversation with you.
No, It's the third free kick that they've had into the penalty area and the third free kick that they've given away or got it wrong, and kind of sums up their evening. Slightly comical moment with Austin, who's a sizable guy, and Gabby, who's probably about a third of his size, taking exception to whatever he does, and you have to say it's probably the first mismatch of the game that's actually been in Costa Rica's favour.
So the referee just having detailed conversation with Gavi and Waston, and no further punishment. And Waston will now repeat that jog back up to the halfway line. And Spain will have a free kick inside their penalty area. So yeah, going back to Gavi, he was involved in a bit of afters there, but what have you made of his World Cup debut so far?
It's been very impressive. He's played alongside his two teammates in midfield from Barcelona, so he's been at home, and he's looked good on the ball. He's had time on the ball. He's been allowed to do what he wants to do, really, with the ball. And you know, it looks like
here comes Spain. Nico Williams with the ball in. That's an excellent covering challenge by Fuller, because there would have been a tap-in at the far post for Alvaro Morata. It remains just the 5 to Spain.
Yeah, the legs have gone now for Costa Rica. It was just whether Fuller could get back again. It was an open goal for Morata, and they're lining up now. But Gavi, yeah, impressive. Seen him for Barcelona a number of times live, and he's very, very good against the teams which aren't so good. When he comes up against the really good side in the Champions League, is been the question. Yes, he's young. Yes, he's got time to improve, but he's in a World Cup. He's been playing in the Champions League. He's also for now.
Absolutely. Spain midway through their own half in possession. Here is Gavi, the 18-year-old. The records do just keep tumbling, but as Rob says, he will face stiffer tests. Certainly will do him the world of good to get this game, this performance and the goal under his belt in this opening match of the World Cup. Spain 5, Costa Rica 0. 9 minutes plus added time to play here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds as the ball is through into the penalty area. Morata, good save by the knees of Navas, and now the flag goes up and Morata waves a hand in frustration, but Navas did well there.
Yep, stood up on the angle, knew that it suited him. He was offside and very, very tight again. His touch wasn't great from Morata, took him wide, and Navas knew that and just waited for it to make the save.
Final change for Costa Rica, a rest for Brian Oviedo. Ronald Matarrita is on. And Costa Rica now have just over 9 minutes plus added time to try and stop this getting any worse, as Azpilicueta comes forward. A roar of frustration from the Chelsea captain, just handled the ball as he came forward, and it's a free kick to Costa Rica.
Well, they're playing out now, and it's taking 2 passes for them to almost lose the ball, and you're thinking with 8.5, 9 minutes to go, you just get it as far away from your own goal as possible, really.
Ball forwards goes out for a Costa Rican throw. Matarrita just on. Will take it for the side who trail by 5 goals to 0. And as Navas clears the ball over halfway, header won by Rodri. How would you assess his performance at centre half?
It's been an absolute cruise. There was once he has to stretch his legs, once he had to do something that you thought was above and beyond, and that's been it. I think there's been a number of cases for Luis Enrique where people have enhanced their causes, and that's been one for him to centre half. He has done it before, maybe a bit of an experiment. There are centre halves in this Spain side. You're looking at Pau Torres in particular, very good centre half for Villarreal, but he's been chosen. Eric Garcia, one for Barcelona, not chosen again. So there's a lot of players enhance their causes here.
Balde looking to do just that, on for this cameo at the end of the match. Out on the left-hand side as Spain work it out to Azpilicueta on the right-hand side. Has Williams ahead of him, goes in field instead to Koke, who's working his way around that centre circle and now out to the left-hand side. Goes Laporte, exchanges passes with Dani Olmo and back in field, and again Spain just very patiently playing this around, looking to play it now over the top, looking for Nico Williams, but too much on it and it's behind for a Costa Rica goal kick.
Well, you're looking around saying there's 40,000 here, and you know, I reckon you're down to about 10 now. 12,000 of hardy souls sticking it out before the end of the game. It's been done and dusted for a long time, and really unfortunate for Costa Rica fans who've made the journey, spent a lot of money coming. It's one that they knew they were up against it from the get-go as soon as this group was drawn, and there's very little in this game to say that it's going to be anything but difficult.
Yeah, Costa Rica have it just outside their own penalty area. Nico Williams gets a foot in and will retain possession eventually for Spain, but plays it straight into Brian Ruiz, and Costa Rica should be able to clear away. Yeah, they navigated such a difficult group in 2014, Costa Rica, but very different proposition now after being hammered in their first game in 2014. They beat Italy, they beat Uruguay, they drew of course with England under Roy Hodgson, and it was that positive start that meant that they were able to progress through as they did all the way to the quarterfinals. But as they have it back inside their own penalty area with Navas, we talk about Spain. I mean, yes, Costa Rica have just been a class below them, but again, we think Germany, who lost today to Japan, we think Argentina, who lost yesterday to Saudi Arabia. Spain have come out, like France did, like England did, got the job done, and it's only the third time in their history they've scored 5 or more goals in a World Cup match. They did it in 86 against Denmark, they did it in 98 against Bulgaria, and in fact, if they get one more goal, it'll be their biggest winning margin of victory at a World Cup as well. So it is important potentially in a tournament where we're seeing the likes of Germany and Argentina stutter, that Spain do put down a bit of a marker, as well as doing the first job of navigating this match as they have it on the halfway line. And
it's been such a cruise. It's been a training game in many respects, a training session that you say a good exercise, but also next game coming up, Germany, then Japan. The games are coming thick and fast. After that you say, because it's been such a cruise, because they've not had to play 100% for over an hour, really.
They're coming down the left-hand side once again. Dani Olmo picks it up inside the penalty area, chips the ball across, headed away by Waston for Costa Rica, helped on by Aguilera. And Costa Rica will win a free kick as well, midway inside their own half. Not had too much chance to see much of Brandon Aguilera, the 19-year-old, since coming on. He's currently on loan at Guanacaste from Nottingham Forest. He's seen by many in Costa Rica as the natural successor to Brian Ruiz, which is always one of those you don't want to quite put on a young player, but he will hope that he has chances with Costa Rica at this tournament to just show a little bit of why people in his home country feel that he could be one of the next best things, as Nico Williams comes forward for Spain, well covered by Waston, but only out of play for a Spain throw into the final 3 minutes plus added time. Spain 5, Costa Rica 0.
Well, it's been a subdued atmosphere in the ground, really, almost from the get-go. People realised just how quick, how good that Spain have been, how much they sort of just sat back and enjoyed it, really. And it's been a consummate performance from them, a very comfortable performance from them. They'll take great heart from this, and as I was saying, the fact that they'll walk off the pitch and go, well, that's not so bad. I've had a bit of a freshener. I've had a bit of an alivener. We've not had a game for 10 days. Well, we're back together again. We know how we feel. We know how we suit. We've got a shape. We found a team. We've got a lot of ticks in the boxes. Luis Enrique will be pleased. He'll be happy. There's not else much you could say.
Here is Dani Olmo, 25 yards out. Slide it through. This would round it off if there was a goal for Alvaro Morata. But in the end, it's all the way through to Navas.
I think that's the one. I think if he said what would make it ideal, it was one goal for Alvaro Morata, just to get him off and running, because he's the out-and-out centre-forward. Not really anyone. If you said, give us a number 9 for Spain, Asensio played there today. He can play there, and he has played there for Real Madrid, but he's not a focal point. He's not a number 9 on today's performance might not need one.
Well, that's it, isn't it? As you say, Morata, the only out-and-out striker in the squad, but the false 9, the fluidity, and it's one of those where, yes, it's a false 9, but when they play there so regularly and they almost take on the attributes of a centre-forward as well, it just gives Spain so many options. And as we've touched on as well, they've got the options in defence as well. So that is the story developing at this tournament. I'm not sure we can confidently predict what ending the story will have, but this is a Spain side who are young, they're exciting, they played very well today, they will face bigger tests, and the next one is the biggest you would think they'll face in the group, although maybe shouldn't say that given that Japan have beaten Germany, but they are up against Germany, a Germany side who know that game for them now, having lost to Japan today, is absolutely huge. As the ball is into the area from Nico Williams, Navas makes the save, the follow-up is netted by Carlos Soler, and Spain do have their 6th goal. It's their biggest winning margin at a World Cup in their history. They have swept Costa Rica away. 6-0 they lead.
Again, so simple, but the quality's there. Nico Williams on the right-hand side gets the ball wide out on the touchline. That's where damage has been caused today. Very, very wide, stretching the game wide, takes his man on. Navas has to step in, has to do something. Morata's there waiting, but all he can do, an outstretched arm, lays it on a plate for Soler. Realistically, it's been a walk in the park for Spain. Alcon dust themselves down, walk off, and they are not grateful for this news.
The news for Costa Rica
aren't, sorry.
Is that there's 8 minutes of added time. Oh, blow the whistle. Poor Costa Rica, blow the whistle, referee. But you touched on it earlier, Rob. It's enjoyment from this stadium. They've enjoyed this spectacle, this show that Spain have put on. And yes, it's not been a contest. We've known that from 30 minutes in when Spain went 3-0 up. But it's been very, very good to watch from Spain.
It's been a fantastic performance by them. It's just a shame not everyone stayed to see it all.
Can Costa Rica get a consolation? Can they stop it being Spain's biggest winning margin at a World Cup? Joel Campbell swings the ball in, and Unai Simon, well, I make that probably the hardest thing he's had to do all game, take that cross, and he did it well.
It's the first time he's had to intervene in the game other than receiving back passes, which is not an intervention. You're just receiving the ball from your teammate and forwarding on the ball. That's actually something where he's had to stop the other opposition doing anything, and again, kind of just sums it all up, doesn't it?
Spain, you sense, might not be done yet. They've got 7 further minutes of added time to try and get a 7th goal against Costa Rica here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And as you say, Rob mentioned a few minutes earlier, Costa Rica really struggling now in terms of legs. Duarte's just slid in there and didn't get anywhere near the ball, didn't get near the player in the end either, but...
It's that far off.
Yeah, he's that far off, says Rob. Spain going down the right-hand side. Here is Gavi. He's become their youngest scorer at a World Cup in their history. The records continue to tumble for him. Now Nico Williams, Morata. Can the number 7 get the 7th? Yes, he can! 7th heaven for Spain and for Morata, and that is the cherry on top of the cake that they wanted. Alvaro Morata, such a confidence player, gets his goal, and what a confident start this is to this World Cup from Spain. 7-0, they are thrashing Costa Rica.
The last box is ticked for Luis Enrique, and that was the biggest celebration of the lot by the goal scorer. He was thrilled, and it's a really, really good goal. 1-touch, 2-touch football on the edge of the box. Yes, there's limited opposition. Yes, it's around mannequins. It's been like that for over an hour and a half now, and it's saying it's a really, really good finish, a tidy finish in the bottom corner with his weaker foot. Just feels it in the corner. You don't have to smash them in. Just bend it in that far corner. And you're saying when that 8 minutes of injury time went up, it just felt like it was the final body blow for Costa Rica, and they're on the floor, they're done.
although we've just seen a brilliant piece of skill from the centre half, Francisco Calvo. Lovely little turn as the ball is chipped into the area by Brian Ruiz, but Simon is right underneath it. Well, 8 minutes of added time. Might it end up being 8-0? You wouldn't bet against it. We've still got 5 to play.
There's no opposition now. It's a case of picking your passes and picking the right pass, finding the space, because Costa Rica have stopped running, they've stopped moving, and it's just a shame that it's ended in such a way and in such a, you don't want to use the word humiliation, but it is a humiliating defeat.
Gavi goes down, wins a free kick off Aguilera. And Spain get things moving quickly again. Belgium against Canada to come, 7 o'clock here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds with John Murray and Dion Dublin. That's after Japan's shock win over Germany earlier today. Morocco 0-0 against Croatia, the other score, and we have seen Spain put 7 past Costa Rica. Tomorrow on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, 4 games for you, 4 a day at this World Cup in the group stages, including one of the favourites, Brazil. Rick Edwards will have all the build-up on 5 Live breakfast from 6 a.m. As Costa Rica clear the ball away, headed forward by Rodri, brought down by Azpilicueta just inside the centre circle, trapped by Gavi, and out to the right-hand side, and Nico Williams plays the ball back to Gavi once more as Costa Rica, to be fair to them, particularly the substitutes, they're trying to close down, they're trying to stop the spaces and the gaps opening up, but as you say, Rob, humiliation is the word for it. 7-0 they trail.
I'm just waiting for you to ask me, have you ever lost 7-0?
Have you ever lost 7-0, Rob
6,
Green?
lots of times, never 7.
There you go. Spain in possession with Dani Olmo out to the left-hand side as they build once more. Here is Balde, back to Olmo. The stands emptying around us, but the fans who are staying are enjoying still Spain playing some lovely stuff as Gavi goes in, the ball is laid off, and the miscue on the edge of the area from Carlos Soler. He's already got 1, he could have had 2, Spain could have had 8, but it stays at 7.
Yep, they've had the chances. Looking now for 15 shots in the game. Been clinical. Keylor Navas has barely made a save from the shots on target. Producer Gary just pointing out over 1,000 passes completed in the game from Spain, and that is just pretty much a death by 1,000 cuts, a death by 1,000 passes,
and by 7 goals as well.
There's that as well.
Spain in possession. We have 2 minutes of added time to play until Costa Rica are put out of their misery, but Spain are not letting up still. They're down to the edge of the penalty area. Morata lays it off to Olmo, but they've won a free kick right on the edge of the box. Spain, Balde going down, and it'll be a yellow card as well. And I don't know how much worse it can get. Well, I do. It can get 8-0 worse for Costa Rica, but they just want to get off the pitch now.
What you would say is that the one consolation, or one of the few consolations in the side, is that Calvo has done very well not to get sent off in the game, because that could have made it really bad.
It's Joel Campbell who's gone into the book there, but yes, Calvo, the other Costa Rica player, booked. And Spain with Carlos Soler preparing to take this free kick from the left-hand side. And you have 3 red shirts in the penalty area. Again, you have so many dotted around. They could just play it in that arc, couldn't they, and almost work it to the penalty spot. Let's see what they do. 4 red shirts now into the penalty area. Spain prepare to whip this free kick in, and the referee, they do keep doing this, that they're so hot on conversations even really in the penalty area. They don't want to see any pushing and shoving the referees, so just making sure that that is not occurring. And now Spain will be able to take this free kick from the left-hand side. It's whipped in, it's cleared away by Costa Rica. It's out for a Spain throw.
Well, that was a wasteful opportunity there, but that's about it really for criticisms for Spain. 1 poor pass in there, in over 1,000. It's not that bad.
In possession on the halfway line. And Spain and Luis Enrique's thoughts will turn very shortly to Germany on Sunday, then Japan next Thursday. Costa Rica, well, You never say that a World Cup is already over after the first game. But it's been a humiliation for the Costa Ricans. It has been simply sublime from Spain. 7-0 winners. And Rob Green, you couldn't have asked for a more perfect performance.
It's absolutely what they wanted. It's what they needed coming into this tournament. Had a few questions. Young players coming in. Can they find a way to play? Can they come up with answers? Well, it's been a perfect training session for them, because that's pretty much what it's been. It's not been a contest. It's been a training session for them, a warm-up for bigger games to come. And if you're getting over 1,000 passes in a game, then that's an incredible achievement, and to win any is a brilliant achievement. They really have been brilliant in this game.
And a bit of history as well for Spain. Their biggest World Cup win in their history. Gavi becoming their youngest World Cup goal scorer, and Alvaro Morata getting his goal as well to round off the 7. I can tell you, Kelly, that Guillem Balaguer has a very big smile on his face to my left, because it's finished. Spain 7, Costa Rica 0.
Yes, 7 up for Spain, and they were absolutely sparkling against Costa Rica. The trick, Guillem, is going to be keeping Spanish feet on the ground ahead of the next 2 group stage matches.
Nah, forget it. Let us fly.
Embrace it.
Oh,
this is what we want, Guillem. Yes,
I bet for 89 minutes you've been saying, oh wow, but all I heard was Rob saying, oh, too many passes on the training session, and you saying put the feet down. No, 7-0. You know, in the last 10 tournaments, we only won twice in the last 10 tournaments, the first game of the tournament. So this was unbelievable. The first half.
Stop the tournament now. Finish it now.
It's coming home.
On goal difference.
Stop the count.
Win it on goal difference.